From our studio in Atlantic City, and tonight from what used to be the Atlantic City Hilton, I'm David Spatz. And coming up next, he's the biggest star you've never heard of, unless you ask him. Tony Clifton joins me on tonight's edition of Curtain Call, and it all starts right now.
Like a rhinestone cowboy, everybody riding out on a horse in a star-spangled road.
You know, we have a lot of guests on this show over the past 20-some years, but few people qualify as a true Renaissance performer. My guest tonight is one of them. In the course of tonight's show, he performed Shakespeare. He performed from the Great American Songbook. He performed from Les Miserables on Broadway. He performed some of the great country songs. Tony Clifton, is there anything that you can't do on stage?
Sir, I do everything, as you know, Spatsy.
I do.
And we've known each other for years. We go back old school.
Old school.
And I'm being, as you see, reborn.
Reborn.
Because I never age, because I'm Tony Clifton.
Yeah, okay, let's
Yeah.
clear a few things up.
Okay.
You claim that you discovered Andy Kaufman in 1969, but there are others who say Andy Kaufman discovered you in the 70s. What's the truth there?
Well, no. Andy Kaufman discovered me in 1969 in Las Vegas. He was unknown.
Okay.
Everybody know Andy Kaufman from Taxi, Saturday Night Live.
Right.
Then he died young. They did the movie Man on the Moon
Right.
with Jim Carrey that Milos Forman directed.
And you were prominently.
Well, I co-starred opposite Jim Carrey, but I'll tell you the whole thing. And I was there with the breakup of the whole thing with Jenny McCarthy. We'll get into that later.
Okay,
Let's talk about me now.
Of
But I'll
course.
tell you what came down
You're a
then,
big
because I've
star.
been drinking. So I'll give you some insights into what happened with Jim. And I'll tell you
You've
for
been
real.
Since what, 1969?
yeah.
Have you stopped?
You know, my problem, I'll tell you, my problem is this, Patsy. I got two hands, only one mouth. That's the only problem I have with drinking. Anyway, no, but seriously, I'm on the, my doctor told me to stop drinking because it's a serious issue. People get drunk, you know, and that's what put me, my career down for many years. But I am now on the drinking man's diet. Yeah, and last week I lost 4 days. So anyway, Spatsy, we go back.
where's the rim
We
shot
should
when
have the
you
guy here.
wasn't
See,
open?
did you have fun tonight?
Yeah, I did.
Did you have fun?
Some of the people did
It
out
would-
there tonight.
What,
Some
they
of
were
them-
yeah,
some
but
walked out,
it
though.
was different from what you thought it would be, didn't you?
No, it
No, it was? No?
It wasn't different from what I
Oh,
thought. it
good.
would be.
Okay, good.
But
Because I
think it was
wasn't
different
sure.
That a lot of people thought they were, coming to see.
But there were moments I could see some of the older people, and folks, what we did, we had an older crowd here. What a demographic. You had people from like 22 years old to 82 years old.
did.
And you had to try to, and it was tough, because as you see, because you've seen it all, I was trying to appeal to both. I tried to do that stuff and the crazy and the crazy stuff.
We have a bleep button.
Yeah, but so it was kind of tough, but that's always interesting. That gets a lot of energy going. Are those girls beautiful?
They certainly are.
Yeah.
Smoking hot.
Smoking
Where'd
hot.
you find it? They're burlesque. I mean,
These
there
are
isn't
what-
burlesque today, but you find burlesque.
No, because I'm old school, and these are 6 of the top burlesque dancers across the country. It took me, I auditioned maybe 200 girls. I've always auditioned the girls. Anyway, so that was in Reno. 2 of them came from Reno. 2 came from New Orleans.
Okay.
Madame Mystere, the one I said Summer Wind, with the Sinatra song. This woman, so beautiful. And then one from Las Vegas, and the beautiful girls, and really sweet girls too, the real pros, the real Dan, they don't belt.
And their wardrobe kind of pushed the envelope for what's legal in Atlantic City.
I know,
Can't
but I got to tell you, Spatsy, we were warned right before the
I
show.
know that.
You know this? Well,
yeah.
tell me, who was telling? Norm came up there, what happened?
Yeah,
they got a little
Norm
scared.
said they got a little
But are they
nervous.
happy? Are they okay?
Yeah, I think they
I
were.
think they sold some booze, right?
They sold some drinks, and,
Yeah.
and there were still some people left in the house when you closed. So
Oh, did you see the end of the show? Yeah. And they're still drinking,
how
and that's
can,
what
how
about.
can you lose with God Bless America?
No, you can't lose. Well, that's Kate Smith.
There you go.
That's the one way. And I'll tell you, like I said on stage, I'm not joking, and I mean it from my heart, is that only in this country, because I take on every race.
Yes, you do.
You see that. I don't leave anyone else.
You leave yourself out.
But what am I?
I don't know. You tell me.
I ain't telling you.
Nobody knows.
I'm a Muslim. Come on. No. ain't messing with me. So anyway, I take all everybody, and in this country you can do this. And I tell you, as you know, I'm an international singing sensation, and you could travel, and you've traveled.
I've traveled.
You cannot. Oh, you got to watch
No,
out
you have
another
to be
country, and that's what this country's all about. And we start losing that ability because people talk like this. You know that.
Exactly.
You know that. I use the N word on stage. I won't use the N word here, but I'll use it on stage.
But you can get away with it.
I get away with it, yeah. I'm like Archie Bunker, is the way I explain it to be. What are you going to do, arrest Carol O'Connor?
He's dead too. He's with Andy.
He is with Andy. Well, if Andy Kaufman's dead, that's a whole other thing.
Right.
But anyway,
But
wait, I was telling this story.
Okay,
That was
right.
yeah, 1969. Andy Kaufman, this is weird. Kaufman, because everybody wants to Kaufman, Tony Clifton, what's going on here? 69, Andy hitchhikes to Las Vegas to meet his idol, Elvis Presley.
Right.
And he told me when it finally, him and I, we'll get into that, but him and I had a little fighting in the beginning, but when we became buddies towards the end of his life, he told me he went to see Elvis at the Hilton in Vegas in 1969, and he brought a plastic gallon can. So he could hide. He went into the delivery where the show was at 8 o'clock.
Right.
It's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Kaufman goes in there and he hides in a closet off the kitchen, because back then, as you know, they would put on the shows, because then they had food too. They didn't serve food
Right.
tonight.
It was a
In
dinner
the old
show.
days, they used
You
to
have
do
dinner
it.
shows, right.
So the casino, the showroom was built right next to the kitchen, because they were moving a lot of food then. Right, so Kaufman knew this. So he went in when they were delivering food during the day, and he hid in a closet for 5 hours. He was pissing in the damn thing, And he waited for Elvis to walk by with the West Brothers, what they called the Memphis Mafia. That was Sonny and Red West. And I talked to Sonny and Red West years after Kaufman died. They confirmed, they remembered this. And the craziest thing, Andy's Tony Kaufman's totally unknown. And he waits 4 or 5 hours. Elvis walks by with the bracelet, and Andy steps into this little closet he's hiding in. And the West Brothers go for the gun, and the king.
I'm surprised Elvis didn't go for the gun.
No. Yeah, well, no. He saw he's a skinny, pimply Jewish kid, right? Offered no threat, and he just sat there. And Andy said to him, he said, "I'm your biggest fan, and someday I want to be famous like you." And Elvis Presley, is a true story, looked at a young Andy Kaufman. He put his hand on his shoulder and says, "I believe that will happen."
He was blessed by the king.
He had the benediction, and
had
then
the
he went
yeah.
on, and that was it. True story. They should have done this in the movie. 2 years later, Andy Kaufman is the biggest cabaret act in New York City.
There are some who say Andy Kaufman and Tony Clifton were the same person.
Well, this is what happened. Okay,
What
good.
happened there?
Well, what happened? So anyway, I met Andy. So
Right.
wait. He met Elvis.
Right.
He doesn't even go to see Elvis's show. He doesn't care.
Because he couldn't afford it.
That's
Didn't have the
right.
ticket.
So he goes down to
And
Fremont.
Elvis didn't even comp him into his show.
No, he just kept going. He didn't
Okay.
know. Yeah. He thought that guy's a nut anyway. We had a few nuts tonight, but the people had fun. That's okay. I like that.
That's
you know?
important.
Yeah. So after this happened with him and Elvis, he decides he has no money, but he goes down to Fremont Street. You know Fremont? That's
Pretty
old
much
Vegas.
that's downtown.
That's old downtown Vegas.
Downtown Vegas.
And I was performing there at a lounge, and he came in there. Now he never talked to me. I never met him then. But when 2 years later, he's famous, and that's when he did that big Carnegie Hall show. And Bugsy Monroe, who used to sell the Spatz,
He used to sell
the watches
backstage.
out there on Fremont
Yeah.
Street for a long time. So he comes up and he says, "Tony," he says, "congratulations." What are you talking about? You're playing Carnegie Hall. What? I think Spatz is out of it. I mean, it's not Spatz. I think, Bugsy Monroe's out of his damn tree or something. A few days later, other people call me up, "Tony, well, what are you talking?" Say, "Look in the New York Times." And George Shapiro had an ad in the New York Times saying, "Andy Kaufman, Carnegie Hall, opening act Tony Clifton." Well, guess what? Nobody told me about it.
You didn't show.
Kaufman was going to do an impression of me.
Aha.
Now, I didn't have much money, so I kept calling Shapiro up. In the movie Man on the Moon, Danny DeVito plays Shapiro.
Right.
And but I kept calling. I didn't have money. I kept putting money in a pay phone. And because I was working at the piano bar there, they put a lot of change. So I lose my change. Instead, I put my change, and I didn't.
This is, people who are watching the show who are younger don't know that you used to have to put coins.
Is that something?
In a phone.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Well. So so the big Hollywood agent George Shapiro, who now manages Seinfeld, that was Kaufman's manager. So his office answers the phone. They hear some nut to them putting coins in. Can I talk to Mr. Shapiro? He doesn't know some. No. Tony, he doesn't even know. And finally, nothing happened. And then I finally got myself a Jew lawyer. And the Jew lawyer, that's what you do. You get to deal with a Jew. Are you Jew?
I am.
So you know what I'm talking, right?
I know what you're talking
it's
about.
the tribe. It's the inside card. So I got the Jew lawyer. Did you like my Jew joke
I
tonight?
like you. Yeah, I did. You offend everybody. I mean, you're
Equal opportunity offender.
There you go.
Equal opportunity offender.
Like Don Rickles or Lisa Lampanelli.
Yeah, I guess. But I'm a singer. They don't sing. So I'm I do
right.
jokes
you're
that I
right.
hear and stuff. I do it between when the musicians are flipping the charts. Is what I do.
So you figure if the songs don't clear the audience, the jokes will?
If what?
If your songs don't clear the audience, the jokes will? Yeah.
Give 'em everything.
There's more than one way to empty a room.
I should throw them out right now.
No, anyway, this is my town. You're going to be
Spatz,
leaving
we go
tomorrow.
back. We go back. So anyway, so I call Shapiro up, and he finds out that it's really Tony Clifton calling. So then Andy was going to do an impression of me. And you know what they say, that an impression, look at it, she's look, Keely, come here, baby, what's wrong? Come on, we're doing an interview. What's wrong, baby? What? What's wrong?
Unplanned.
We're on camera now.
Great.
What's my mirror?
Don't you make me smile because I'm pissed.
Why are you pissed? You're going to cry. What happened?
I'm not gonna cry.
Just wait, go on camera, but listen for a second. Just tell me my ear. I want to know, because I got to do it. What?
It's nothing. It's me being a female. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, that's all right.
This is Spatz. I've known her for years. This is my newly adopted daughter, Keely. She's in the show. Was she great?
She was wonderful.
Fantastic. See, look at that. They love you. You're a wonderful performer. You should be happy right now. Just came on show, great show and everything else. What are you upset about?
I feel like I'm in the middle of a giant Andy Kaufman gag, but I'm going to play it straight.
No.
And he's dead.
Well, no, I know.
No. This is real. No, what?
He
No,
died
she's
before
totally
you were
real.
born, probably.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's nothing.
Why'd you come to talk to me?
I wanted to bring you.
Okay, well, let me do this. Why don't you finish? Let me finish with this guy. Then, are you okay? Don't leave yet.
No, I'm fine.
Don't leave. We're going to go and have a drink at the bar.
I accidentally got intoxicated.
Did somebody yell at you or what?
Only you.
That's showbiz.
Yeah, no, this is no setup. That's for real. That's
no.
yeah, this,
Okay.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't
you're a
think,
father figure to her, you know?
well, she doesn't even know she's on stage, let alone walk into this. She's total. That's why she got picked up by a big agent. I brought her to Hollywood.
Yeah.
She's with a big agency now because she's a natural. You see this?
I saw that. I saw it on stage tonight, and then I saw
Yeah,
it
she's
right here.
natural. I mean, somebody like Scorsese.
That wasn't an act.
No. You get a big. You get. No, I mean, it's a little family. That's why I want to see this tape. Yeah. But I'm dying to find out what happened. You know, because she was.
You mentioned
sad. I don't-
Scorsese. Maybe we can get her a role in Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah, maybe that HBO thing, maybe.
You know, there was a time, Tony. You know, when
I'm sorry. So to end my story. So anyway, I called George, and he puts me on stage at Carnegie Hall, and I start performing. With
But
Kaufman.
there was a time though when the mere mention of Andy Kaufman's name around you would go into a rage. You were pissed
Well,
at him.
I'll tell you, because what happened, and it wasn't so much his fault as it was the public's fault. There was this confusion. So I was out there performing, and they'd say it's Andy. I would go. I'd be on, like I said tonight, sang the songs from David Letterman.
Right.
You could cut. Did you? Hey, were you able to shoot?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Good.
we
Okay,
got some
good.
stuff.
Okay, yeah. But clear that with me too, because I'll give. Yeah, then we'll
Yeah,
clear
yeah.
it. And we got other stuff, so we give you better sound or whatever you guys
you go.
need. You know, because I want to keep you happy.
We
Spatz. We've known each other for years.
Many years.
Good.
Many
Okay.
years.
So we'll do it right.
Yeah.
But just so we get a little, you know,
Gotta
don't
have it
really,
right.
we'll do it right, so it represents what we're doing. But anyway, what was I saying?
Oh, we were talking about Carnegie Hall, and then the public, you know.
So the confusion was because
right.
he started doing me.
Right.
See, he started doing me, and then people thought he was me, but in fact it was me. So like on David Letterman, I go on David Letterman, and Letterman thinks it's Kaufman. And during the intermission, it's true. I did the same medley that I did on Letterman tonight.
Right.
I did here. And David says to me during the intermission, he says, Andy, if I didn't know it was you, I'd swear it was somebody else.
Well,
So him and I had a lot of fun with this stuff. But I think Kaufman would play jokes, so I think I was kind of the brunt of the joke too.
Well, there
But
are
I'm
some,
back now,
There are
'cause he is
some
dead.
people. Okay, he's
Yeah.
dead. He died in 1984, May
Yes.
May of 1984.
The lung cancer or
Right,
something. Yeah,
some
yeah.
weird form of lung cancer.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
never smoked.
Kaufman didn't smoke.
No, he didn't.
Unless he was doing an impression of me. Then he was
Yeah.
a vegetarian,
Right.
he holistic medicine, did a meditation, never smoked, never drank. But when he did me, he would become me for a few days. Then
So he would drink and he would.
Yeah,
That was
hookers, the
real.
whole thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
live large.
Wow.
Yeah. But look at this. I'm still living large, and I'm still
But
kicking.
you know, so Andy died in '84, and then
Yeah.
you didn't resurface till like the 20th anniversary of his death. Where were you for those 20 years?
Working internationally.
Oh, that's
International
right.
singing station. I would work in third world country, and I'd be working soccer stadiums. I'd be doing a little
You sold more records than Elvis and the Beatles
internationally.
Internationally,
Yeah, people here, they go,
12.
"That's
I was gonna say 12 albums in this country, but
No, nothing.
100
here.
million.
I saw you say that, and you heard. I read your article. You son of a gun. But internationally, those people will buy anything.
Right.
They don't know. And I was doing also faith healing at the time.
They like that over there, don't they?
They do. You know what? You get a soccer stadium and do some singing, a little faith healing. They come in there, and I charge them, a few shekels, and they come in there and then maybe bring some canned goods for me, or if they have young girls, young daughters. The laws are different.
But you already have a daughter. We just met her. She keeps staying.
Yeah, but that's the one legally in the U.S.
Oh, so like all bets are off when you're overseas?
Well, the laws have changed. The laws have changed. But if you get in with the family, you get parental authority. Then that's a whole different thing.
All right. So the movie, Man on the Moon.
Man on the Moon.
How accurate?
They
was
should have
that?
called, huh? Well, it's a movie.
Right. It was a movie, but it was.
So
a movie.
you're taking the whole man's life and putting it in 2 hours.
Right.
That's something that should be 40 years.
But how much poetic license was in there, and how much was real?
You know what? They did pretty good.
Yeah.
They weren't too. Yeah. Scott Alexander and Larry Kazurinsky, who wrote it,
Mm-hmm.
who wrote The People versus Larry Flint with Milos Forman.
Forman.
Milos, that's how they got that job. They did a lot of research. They did a lot of research.
And I had mentioned this in my column, but
Yeah.
people used to say that you and Andy were the same person, and you were
Well,
never.
I'm not. You could say I'm
right,
different.
You were
He's
never.
dead. I'm
you
still here,
you were
yeah.
never in the same room at the same time until you were. I mean, Kaufman would be in the audience, and
Yeah, well, that-
everybody
yes,
else
yes.
Then they were saying.
Oh, this is what- yeah.
But then they were saying it was Bob Zamuda.
Well, that Zaguda guy, that Polak, that's a dumb Polak guy. That guy got a haircut already. Yeah, that guy. Yeah, well, that was Kaufman's writer, Zabuda.
Right.
How do you say it? Zabuda?
Zamuda.
Zamuda, what did they
You
say?
should know how to say it.
No, I know Zabuda. I know he's a dumb Polak, I know that. And so, but he was there, he's Kaufman's writer. He does an impression of me. Kaufman did an impression of me.
Andy's brother did an impression of you too, didn't he?
Yeah, Andy's
Michael?
brother. Jim Carrey, of course, from Man on the Moon, and Paul Giamatti. So if you see the movie,
Oh,
three of
right,
us
that's
appear
right.
in the movie. Jim does because he does that scene with DeVito because he's taking the make off. So he had to do that scene. And then later on, when they try to pull the wool over George Shapiro, Danny DeVito's eyes
Right.
in the movie, there's another scene, and Shapiro walks in because he can't believe. Well, wait, if Kaufman's on stage, I thought Kaufman is Tony, and then it's Paul Giamatti
Right.
in that other scene. But at the end of the movie, thanks to Paul and to Jim, who fought with Milos and said, "Hey, the real Tony." So at the end of that movie, I didn't do it tonight. I will survive because the show was going too long with these crazy people there. And listen, I usually do 4 or 5 hours.
Really?
Oh yes.
I was like a Springsteen concert.
This was nothing. This was
Oh,
like
this was like a
nothing.
day at the beach
I'm ready to
for
go
you.
do a show now someplace. You know me. We've been around for years. Because
Total
I love it.
showbiz.
It's in my blood.
It is.
Yes.
It absolutely is. I mean,
Yeah.
you played Tahoe for a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
back
yeah,
in the,
yeah,
in
yeah.
The, in the 70s, because an old buddy of mine, Holmes Hendrickson, booked you.
They booked Holmes Henderson called George Shapiro up.
Right.
And said, "I want to book Tony Clifton." And he says, "I want to book Andy Kaufman as Tony Clifton." George said, "You have to understand, Andy is not Tony." Now, what Holmes is thinking, well, yeah, we know
I'll
that.
get him
And
cheap.
George is going, no, because George knows the truth. He says, "No, I'm telling you, Andy is not Tony." "Yeah, George, okay, we want to book him anyway. Fine. So we go and do the show. And I'm 2 weeks over at the main room over at Harris in Tahoe, South Lake Tahoe. And Kaufman now, to pull this off, Kaufman shows up during the day walking around the casinos, to be seen, to pull off the
Right.
thing, because he wants people
It's
to
the
think,
illusion. It's an
he wants
illusion.
people to
Right.
think that in fact he is me.
Right.
So he's walking around, and then the employee, it's always with the employees. He says, oh, Andy, what are you doing? Oh, I came to see Tony. Go, yeah. But then at night, he'd go to the old whorehouse. He'd go to Joker Ford. He had the Mustang Ranch.
Mustang Ranch,
He
right.
loved the hookers. Oh, my God, Kaufman was nuts. So then
You
I go on.
didn't? You mean you didn't?
I loved him too, of course.
All right.
I still
I
love
just
him. I
wanna-
hang out at
you
the
know.
at Dennis
Don't
House
want
with my
to-
buddy.
I don't want Andy to take the rap alone on that.
No,
Okay, all right.
no. But he brought me into it.
All right.
He tainted my life, my friend.
Okay.
It's terrible. So anyway, Kaufman. But
Congratulations, you cracked up my producer. Anybody who can
What?
do that is good. I mean,
Just now?
yeah. He's there. I can see him in the mirror. Very good.
So he is. So anyway, but here's the funny thing. So I'm sitting there, and now every once in a while, because the show ran 2 weeks in Tahoe, every once in a while, Kaufman comes in dressed like that. What's his name? Zabuda.
Yeah, Zabuda.
That guy,
Bob
yeah.
Zamuda. Bob Zamuda.
Yeah, it's a Polish guy,
right.
ski or something. Anyway, so he comes in, and he sits there, and that guy had beard, long hair, and the Kaufman's all made up like that. And he starts yelling at me on stage, saying, "We know you are Andy Kaufman." Well, the casino security comes in, and they throw him out. Little they know, they're kicking out the guy they hired. This is a true story. The craziest stuff that would come down. Kicking out the guy's hired. Now,
That's not. You can't script that. That's
no, it's true. I
right.
swear to God,
That's-
God struck me dead if I'm making this up.
right.
Sorry, no, but I'm not. But you're Spatz, you know, I know me for years.
I know.
So I would be sitting there doing my act, and right around the same time, maybe about, the show started at 8, maybe about 9:15, I would look in the back and I would see these feathers. I'd see this Haftic, beautiful showgirl. And she'd be watching back, but just in the wing, not in the wings, in the back of the room. And I'd be, oh man, what's this all about? And then finally the security guy there, after a couple nights, said, Tony, you got a big fan, one of the girls from his show. She's a big fan of yours. I said, really? Well, guys, the last 2 nights, her and I get together. Oh, Spatz.
In the biblical sense, I assume.
I'm telling you, this was hot stuff. Now, she's doing this because she thinks, I'm Andy Kaufman. I ain't going to tell her anything different.
Why would you?
I swear to you, this is true. Why would I?
Why would
So
you?
for like 48 glorious hours, man, we're just, I'm going, this is great, right? But she keeps saying, oh, Andy, take off the wig and this and that. You know, and I said, oh, no, baby, I can't. I said, we extended the run. I need to keep this. I'm giving her some BS, right? She has no idea. Well, at the end, she wants my phone number. I can't give her Tony Clifton's number. I got to give her Andy Kaufman's number. So I give her Andy's real number. Now, of course, I'm telling him all about this.
Right.
And he's like drooling. He's, oh, man. So about 6 months later, we're back in L.A. My phone rings. It's Kaufman. Tony, what? He says, this is unbelievable. He says, you know that girl that you were with in Tahoe? I said, yeah. She's at LAX. She wants to spend a few nights with me. I said, what's your problem? I said, you nailed her for 2 nights, you know? And so she picks her up, this is a true story, picks her up, takes her back to his house. Now, ladies and gentlemen, how do I say this tenderly? All I could say is this. Andy was Jewish. I'm not a Jewish man.
It doesn't make you a bad person.
One of us was circumcised, the other one was not. Why she never figured this out? Maybe she thought it was a prosthetic piece I glued on or he glued on. True, I don't want to say they're bimbos. I swear to you, this is the fun with Kaufman we had. How
So you miss
great is
him?
that? Oh, I love the guy, of course.
Before
if we
we-
had more time tonight, we would have done Man on the Moon.
I was going to
put it
say,
in sometimes.
before we close, I got to ask you this
Yes,
because
sir.
this has been
Fancy,
suggested.
good seeing you, man.
It always
we
good
could
seeing
talk.
you.
You know, we could talk all night about these
the guys behind
all
us.
this stuff. Yeah.
Not Wayne Newton, but anyway, it's been suggested. You disappeared for the 20 years. You know, when Kaufman died. You came back in 2004, 20th anniversary. Some say that it was the ultimate Andy Kaufman gag, that he faked his own death so he could come back as Tony Clifton.
Yeah. Well, I guess I got to prove I'm circumcised. There's the cut right
There you go. And there we go. Tony Clifton.
Spatsy, thanks,
Good
man.
to see you again.
It was great
It's
talking.
been a long
I
time.
could talk to you all.
And you probably
We
you
know all this.
probably
Good.
Yeah, we do. We know where all the bodies are buried.
So is everybody okay here?
Everybody's fine.
Are they
here.
happy here? Were they?
I hope so.
But they were nervous, huh?
Everybody was nervous.
But it was okay, huh?
We had a good time.
Good.
And we're back with more right after this.
Thank you, Spatsy.
After sitting there and talking with Tony Clifton we probably were there with him for over an hour. I have no idea who he is. I don't know if he's really Bob Zamuda, who used to be Andy Kaufman's manager, or whether he's Michael Kaufman, Andy's brother, or whether he's Andy Kaufman himself. You know what? Some mysteries are just best left untouched. Anyway, that'll do it for today's edition of Curtain Call. Remember to listen to Curtain Call, the radio show, Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m. on News Talk 1400 WOND. And now for producer Jake Lassie Jr. and for production supervisor Dave Pashik, I'm David Spatz. Hey, thanks for staying up late with us tonight. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I'll see you right back here next week.
Like a right, you got stop. You come on, get the fuck.
Stop it.
Get off, get off. Listen to me, please. You gotta go like a rhinestone cow. Gotta stop. Go into another song real quick.
Yo, Black Magic
quick,
Woman,
quick,
do
quick.
it. Are you on drugs, man? Like, seriously?